There was never a day where I didn't want to play. As Billie Jean King said, you know, I've never seen the ball come over the net the same way twice. There's always something different about each moment. So it keeps you coming back.
Your home country sends you to the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the deal is whatever you win, you have to bring that cash home
back, yeah.
and give it to the government.
Yep. My dad was making, at that point, maybe $100 a month in Czech money, which was good enough to, you know, still pay the bills and whatever, but not that much money, obviously. We got $11 a day per diem that first year, $13 in New York, because they knew New York was more expensive. And I still managed to save money. I would come back with like 300 crowns, which was so much money. You know, after 2 months, I saved $300. And that was, you know, my 3 months' worth of salary from my dad.
So you're coming back with lumps in your pants.
I would give, the federation would get maybe $10,000, and I'd get to keep maybe 500. I mean, they didn't give me any part of the prize money. I just, you know, saved money from the per diem, ate at the club, or ate at the housing, and did the pro-ams.
March 22nd of 1973, you play a young lady who's 2 years older than you by the name of Chris Evert in Akron, Ohio. That is the first of roughly how many meetings between you and Chris Evert?
We played 80 times.
80 times?
We played 80 times. The greatest, yeah. That was a lot of tennis. 80 times, most of those matches were in the finals, and one of us was number one, the other one was number two.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the greatest rivalry ever in the sport.
And yet, I know that the relationship started out so strong because it just feels like, and maybe I'm wrong, tell me, but she had a welcoming presence for you.
Yes.
She was somebody that you looked up to.
Yes.
And she really kind of, in essence, put her arm around you and said, you know, welcome.
She did. It was Chris and Billie Jean King that really were my best friends the first few years on the tour. But I figured I was on my way because the very first time I played Chris in that tournament in Akron, and the week before I played Ivan Gulagong, I lost to Ivan 6-3, 6-4. And when I lost to Chris in Akron, I lost to a 6-3, 7-6. Close match. I actually had a set point, and I'm like, if I can play that close the first time I play them, I know I'll get better.
In spring of '74 in Orlando, you win your first singles title. I read where you hugged a light pole.
Yeah.
And it's, you know,
sounds weird.
It sounds weird, and it makes people laugh a little bit, but it's profoundly sad to me because you didn't really have anybody to hug.
I was, yeah, that's the pole. I was right next to the umpire's chair, and, you know, I wasn't going to hug the umpire. Yeah, I won the tournament. I was the Virginia Slims of Orlando, and won $10,000, which went to the federation. But I was just so happy. I wanted to hug somebody, and I was looking, and everybody was sitting down. I think if somebody was there standing up, I would have hugged them, even told a stranger, but there was nobody near me, so I just hugged the pole.
How does that make you feel?
Well, sad, because I was alone then, because there were no other players. Some tournaments, there would be other Czech players, but most of the time I was by myself. And then when I finally started making it, I could have had my parents travel with me. I had the money for it, but they were not allowed to leave. So I was still alone.
I want to go through.
I had a tough life, Jesus. No, I mean, seriously, I don't mean to be glib, but I didn't realize how alone I was even when I wasn't alone.